This is Nick Schomaund from the class of 2008. He is a Hampton Park Secondary College alumnus, and his current job is senior recruitment consultant, and he specialises in industrial engineering, executive talent and technology. Hi Nick, welcome and thanks for making time.
Hi Elise, thanks for having me.
No worries. Nick, tell us what sort of student you were when you were at Hampton Park.
Well, I would like to start before I joined Hampton Park, what sort of student I was. So I grew up in Mauritius, and over there, I'd say I enjoyed the social life more than the actual academics, didn't really enjoy class that much. But understanding the effort and the structure my mum and dad had to make to move us to Australia, I really want to take it seriously and did want to. So I had full intention when I joined Hampton Park to be a really good student and have some great grades so I could go to university. What was the intention for us anyway? Dad wants to go to university and couldn't afford to send both of us overseas to do so. So moving to Melbourne was going to give us a great chance to do that. And you got the Hexted and all these facilities for us to sort of find our own in studies.
And how did you settle into Hampton Park, being from an EAL background and learning the language, and so tell us a bit more about school days.
It was tough. It was really, really tough. It took me like a year really to settle in, and that, for me, I was sort of the person. I'm an extrovert, so it doesn't take me that long to connect with people and build relationship. But when you're unable to communicate, that always was going to be a challenge. So the first 6 months was all about listening, really. Just couldn't really talk. And just the fact being quiet was quite depressing. I couldn't really understand the teachers in class. And they were fantastic. Like even my classmates, really trying to make me feel welcome. The teachers, and they understood, they really understood the challenge that I was going through. So that, they really set a foundation to try to make me feel comfortable. So the fact that they were trying was a great start. But I had to go out there by my own and try to learn the language. It's just, you can't really, you have to make all the effort. So Hampton Park's got quite a large Mauritian community, but I knew if I made more Mauritian friends and only spoke French or Creole, I was never going to learn. So I went on a hunt to make as many Australian friends as possible through my cousins, and everyone said, Nick, we'll teach you Australian, don't worry about it. So 6 months in, it was all about taking it in, listening, watching TV shows with subtitles. That really helped. I wish I read more. I felt if I read more, it was really going to help me develop my English much easier, much faster. But I was never a person who read books anyway. But the good thing about school was back in Mauritius, because it's so competitive, they really push the kids. So by the time I came in year 11, the subject that I was doing was actually already done a couple of years ago. So I was cruising, except for psychology. It was a tough one for me because all the terminology, the word they were using, I didn't quite understand it. And it's not like you have your laptop open like you do now in class, Google, a word, what that meant, on the fly. So, but it actually increased my listening skills, because something I didn't really have. I always like to chat and I always sort of take over conversations. So that's actually great. Sometimes you don't realize the skills that you're learning for your challenges, but it's only like in hindsight years later. So that was the first.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so important to flag the importance of listening too.
Yeah, absolutely. And my job is about listening. Right? If you take over conversation too much, you're not listening at someone's experience or what they're really looking for in the next role. The technicals they've worked on. Okay, so that you're not quite right, or you might think he's not quite right, was actually perfect for the role, just because you haven't listened enough, or you were distracted by an email or your phone somewhere. So listening is key in what I do.
Yeah, yes, no doubt. Very important message for our students watching and all viewers. So Nick, tell us a bit more about how your perhaps final year of school went, and then the transition from school to uni or the world.
Year 12 was more fun because it was year 2. I was more fluent in English by then. I made more friends. I could understand everyone. They could understand me finally. You know, I was not mispronouncing so many words, and my accent sort of softened a little bit as well by year 12. And to this day, like three of my closest friends are from Hampton Park. We see each other every week. We speak on the phone every day. One of my closest friends, actually, my fiance, Joanne, and we're getting married next year. We've been together for 12 years now. So we're high school sweethearts.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That
thank
is
you.
the second story that I've heard from Hampton Park.
Yes.
How wonderful.
There's a couple of those, that I'm aware of. So it's probably one of my proudest moments being at Hampton Park, you know, being with the same partner. So, no, it's been great. It's been absolutely great. So finishing year 12, I did okay. I did well. I did really well. And thanks to French as well, who boosts your enter score when you're doing another language. So, but I decided at the time that university, I was not ready for university. I was not mature. I knew my mature level was not quite there. 2 years of English, I just felt I need a couple more years, you know, to really sort of, you know, I was still like a few words. I had to think about a few things before I spoke. So I decided to do TAFE. I'm a very hands-on, a practical person. TAFE is actually, sometimes it's all about ego as well, you know. Understand your capability. Be honest about it. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of pressure. No, you need to do this. You need to do that. No, do what's best for you. So, I think the best thing I've ever done. TAFE is actually quite a very hands-on practical. We actually use the software that you're going to use in the real world, you know, and it actually was much cheaper because it was subsidized by the government at the time. You know, I think I spent only $80 in terms of fees for the year for my first year. So I did my Cert 4, did my diploma.
And in what area, Nick?
In financial services.
Right.
Yeah. So my dad was an accounting teacher. And I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. I think when you're in year 10 as well, it's a really tough question to ask to a 15 or 16-year-old. What do you want to do for the rest of your life? You know, pick a subject that's going to define you, you know, in adult, and that's just tough. So I just took the only thing I was good at the time was accounting, because I did business studies for like 5 years. And I'm good at it. Am I passionate about it? No. Do I love it? No. But I'm good at it. So let's get on with it. So I did my Cert 4 diploma and advanced diploma in financial services. Yeah. In accounting at RMIT. It was great. I also ended up picking up. It was in the city, so there's more opportunities. You know, part-time jobs in the city as well. So I work in a debt collecting agency called NCML. So it was after hours, 4 to 8 o'clock, and representing utilities and finance companies and collect some short-term debts. And as you can appreciate, they're not always the easiest conversations. You know, it can get quite emotional. It's especially when you don't at the time. You know, my English was good, but I definitely didn't sound, you know, like the day-to-day Australian. So that makes the conversation a bit tougher. But the experience as well, you know, because I was studying financial services. I was working for a debt collection agency, understanding ledgers and all that sort of stuff for accounts receivable if I want to pursue that as a career. Devoted to casual, helped out to pay for textbooks and help mum and dad with the bills at home. And I decided I ended my advanced diploma mid-year. And you can't really start, if you're a local student, you can't start university until Jan, because they dedicate that period for foreign students. So I was like, okay, got 6 months. I worked full time. So for a holiday, I needed it, and I came back, and I decided to take on my degree, which was great because I had the hands-on and practical approach about TAFE, and I didn't have to do a full 3 year course of accounting. It's like recognition by prior learning, so I only had to do 3 semesters out of 6. So it's got a cost benefit to that as well. I was going to go for the HECS debt, but I pretty much paid half of what I would have paid if I went full time. And not really sure if I was going to pass all subjects as well if I went straight from high school to university. So now I thought that was a great thing that I've done there.
I think that's very self-aware of you, and that's not always the case when you're a teenager and have all these people projecting onto you what they think you should do and have these expectations of yourself or others. And sounds like, you know, such a good listener and also very self-aware teenager, which...
Yes, and also I was quite rebellious as well, and it's not bad. Okay. It's not a bad thing as well. At least I don't think so. If it's done the right way,
totally.
You know, just stand up for yourself. And look, I felt the pressure. I took accounting because mum and dad moved us here to to go to university. And I actually learned from my younger brother. He did extremely well in high school, and you got accepted at Monash University. All he had to do was go to that interview and go, I'm passionate about this subject. He would have got an entry, but he's like, you know what? I don't know why I'm here. I want to be a plumber. And that was so unhappy for like 6 months. He was so upset about it. And I go, oh my God, I respect him for that. He stood up for himself. And that stuck with me the whole time I was in university. And I was just like, but there's a pressure there. But my parents just left their family there. You know, they had great jobs. They started from scratch, low paying job in Australia, because you've got to start somewhere.
Right.
So I felt bad.
Can I ask, so with your brother and him choosing a plumbing pathway and your dad being a bit upset by that, and understandably in the context of everything, what helped to bring him around? Because I think a lot of students, you know, from migrant backgrounds feel this pressure and don't know how to navigate those conversations.
Yeah, and I love the fact you asked that question, because parents always got advice based on their own journey and experience.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're not giving the right advice. It was the right advice for their time, for the location they were in. So, for example, in Mauritius, a tradie, it's not a high-paying job.
Yeah.
They're typically people who go and trade, like, you know, in construction, carpentry, for people who did really well at school. Right? So my parents were like, okay, I want my kids to be successful. They love us so much. They want us to do extremely well in life. So you got to go uni, you got to go uni, you got to go to uni. And you got a lot of miserable doctors back at home. But you want to be a doctor, which is like the pressure. Well, you want to be successful. You want to find, you know, married to a good family. You need to have these really high paying job, lawyers, doctor, and all that sort of stuff. Well, not saying my parents were quite like that, but I understood why they want to athletes get a degree. They go, please get a degree and do whatever you want after.
Sure.
But my brother was like, no, I want to be a plumber. My brother was amazing with his hands. As a young age, he was very creative, and he'll do things all the time because he wanted to know what made things tick, you know. And so he's actually, at the time, like in most of my 20s, I was always broke. Like, I was just trying to find my feet. I never knew what I was doing. But my brother, by 22, 23, extremely successful. Bought land by 23, built his house by 24, got married by 25. He's got 2 people that works under him now. And I mean, it was, that picked up really quickly. Like, even also had to, I was wrong. Like, Gilles is extremely successful now, you know, and because it's not because he chased a job that's going to make him a lot of money. It did. My brother woke up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's whistling in the house. He's having a good time. I mean, I'll be really grumpy at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., but not him, you know. But because he's looking forward to go to work. He's going to work on a project that he never worked on before. He's going to learn something new today. And when you're passionate about what you do, the money will come. It will just come. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's a long game, and that's the reason why he's so successful. He loved that area, and he went into it, and he was passionate. He worked hard. Of course, it's not easy to work in the rain, especially in June, the cold, and waking up that early. And he moved up the ladder really quickly, and now he's got his own business. So my dad, he changed his mind really quickly after that. But talking about expectations as well, it's about knowing what's right for you, because mum and dad won't be around for too long. So you're trying to please them today. When you come to a point in your career where you go, well, I've done this for 10 years now, I don't think I can do anything else now, which is not true, but that's going to be your mindset.
Right.
It's going to make it even harder for you to make a move and try something new, which sometimes means you've got to take a step back and you get used to a bit of a lifestyle. It's hard to go back to square one.
I can see why you're in the line of work that you are, and that have aspirations to be a life coach, Nick. You're incredibly aware, and I really like that you've pedestalized your brother's story. That's really nice to hear about, your brother's pathway too, and as a tradie, because I don't think they get enough airtime, and I think they play such an important role in our society and economy.
And I think people think sometimes people who are tradies, they're not the most intelligent person. They don't have high IQ. That is so wrong.
Yeah.
Speak to a lot of tradies. They're extremely intelligent, like 10 times than I am, you know, but they just do something they love, you know. Well, I hope they're doing something they're passionate about, of course. But a lot of tradies, like, who, you know, why you can trade, you know, trading. Our mum and dad did it, my uncle did it, you know. But hoping they enjoy it too. But it's something that makes you happy, and you know, you got high interest in it.
Totally. So let's talk more about you then, in terms of your, you know, post-school pathway and work. So, you know, what other jobs did you have, and And what's your job now and how do you do it well?
Okay, so then I came back from Thailand, and there was not a lot of shifts for me anymore. The company I was working with going through a lot of changes, acquisitions, so I was a casual. So working once or twice a week is not going to be enough for me anymore. And I luckily got a role as a help desk operator for this company called Bytecraft.
Mm-hmm.
They're a 24/7 help desk. So what they did, they provided technical services to companies such as Woolworth, IBM, especially the gaming industry.
Yeah.
So that's where the core of the business, because we were owned by Tats Crew, we'll go fix the poker machines. So my job was pretty much having to make sure we meeting the SLAs, because there's heavy penalties for not getting tech on site on time or not getting an issue resolved within the time frame that we've agreed on. So I'll organise the parts, organise the tech. Some of the contracts to provide some first level support. You know, it was within 24/7 as well. It was really good with university. I could pick my shifts around my timetable. Because it was Monday to Sunday, and the penalty race as well was really good as well. So that was meant more money for me, and I could still kind of work full time if I wanted. And we had the graveyard shift as well, which was really quiet, so I could do a bit of studies when things weren't going too crazy. So I did that for a bit, and I went to university at the same time.
Yep.
And 2 semesters in, I was really just aiming for credits.
Yep.
Because I was not passionate about accounting. I was just doing, because I go, well, Nick, you're halfway there now. You got a hex that you might as well finish it.
Yeah.
I was just really going for like a couple of studies. I passed. I failed some of one or two units because I was just my heart wasn't in there. So 2 semesters in, I was like, okay, I need a year. I'm going to take a year off.
Yep.
There's no point. I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to work full time as a help desk operator, make some money, and I went for a big trip in Europe.
Oh, cool.
And, you know, like people come back sometimes. It sounds very cliche. You find yourself, you know, and I did. I actually did. Because the person is, if I'm comfortable with you, I'll be super, you know, enthusiastic. If I don't know really well, I'll be really introverted, really scared what people think about me. But while on that trip, I go, I'm not going to see these guys ever again. I'm going to be myself. These guys have been my friends like for 5-6 years now. I've been to their wedding. They come to my birthday from interstate. So I go, Nick, just be yourself, you know. And I came back, I feel so energized. And then I finished my last semester. It was all HDs. Like I'd done so well because I got it out of my system. I finished my accounting degree. And I was like, okay, now it's time to look for a role in accounting, a job in accounting. And the first 4 weeks, I tried really hard, but it was so competitive because there's not just me graduating from university. There's like 1,000 of us from different campus and universities, right? So
competitive.
Right. So at the time, if they don't do this anymore, it's really based on your grades. And there's something to learn now that A-grade students at university who doesn't really have like a part-time job is not always going to be the best graduate for the job.
True. Yep.
Right. People who actually had customer service role who, if I had to hire anyone, if I had my own business tomorrow, I'll hire anyone that work at McDonald's.
Right.
Now,
tell us why.
It's so process driven. There's a rewarding system at Macca's. Like if you follow the right process, if you go to counter and buy the burger, they have little stars on their badges. They don't come easy.
Right.
These little badges, little stars that they get on their badge doesn't come easy. There are criteria of the customer service, you know, the pace of us, you know, meaning the, you know, like following the process. And they don't come easy at all, you know. But I find people who work there, they become fantastic, you know, employees because, you know, it's about, we're calling it atomic behaviors, you know, atomic, like, you know, doing little small process every day, little small thing every day. You accept a small thing first, it builds up to the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So you make small plans and big plans, and the small plans are supposed to sort of drill into what you're trying to achieve for the long term. So strongly suggest anyone who goes to university, yes, it's great to focus on uni. Please have a part-time job. It's actually nice to earn a bit of cash and to be a bit more independent, self-sufficient. But you also give you the skills, customer service, process, getting there to work on time. You know, the biggest complaint from graduate from university was that they can't make to work on time. So what RMIT TAFE did, they started every class at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I had to be in a city by 7:30.
Yeah.
And to be fair, this is a skill Like I'm always at work 45 minutes before because my body just wakes up at that time. If I'm late, I feel I've ruined my day. If I just made it to work like 10 minutes late, I just felt my day. It's not structured enough. So, yes, definitely. So, I look and look and look, couldn't find an accounting job. It was so competitive. At the same time, I got promoted. I was offered a team lead role at Bycraft to manage the team. No leadership background either. That was tough. That was really tough.
Yeah.
You know, because you think because you've got a personality, everyone likes you. When it's time to have a difficult conversation, it's a whole new game.
Totally.
And I was only 24 at the time, so I was still
Still
I'm an adult, but I'm still a baby. You know, I've got life experience. You know, and it was hard. It was tough.
Yeah.
But then you find your own style. You find your own style. You find your ways. You push through. And there was 3 of us that got promoted because it's such a big team and it's a 24/7 help desk. I specialise in the technical and the reporting because of my finance background. Got someone else focused on the HR stuff, and then someone else will focus on the knowledge base. So it like really got me involved into data analytics, looking at the help desk stats, what time we should be busiest, how many people we need to be on the phone at X amount of time. So it really raised my analytical skills. And I did that for a couple of years, and then the graveyards, I was on call. So I owned all the escalations on the roster. So there's something around 2 o'clock in the morning, they will give me a call just to make sure we're on top of things. And I took the toll, you know, because not sleeping really well. I go, I can't do this anymore. I think it's time to use that accounting degree. And that's something I really want to talk about because sometimes we so tunnel vision on how we apply for a role. I'm just going to apply and hope for the best.
Yep.
I'm just going to apply. I'm going to apply for 15 jobs today. Something's going to bite. It doesn't work like that, especially in the competitive market. There's like thousands of us graduate. You've got to do something different. My boss said to me, you know, I told my boss, I'm trying to use contact. I'm trying to sell myself to this guy. He's not picking up the You've got to try different things. You've got to try someone else within the business. So it worked the same when you apply for a role. So I tried, and I was connecting with people through LinkedIn. People that I met at the pub. I go, what do you do? Oh, I'm an accountant. I was like, yeah. Let me tag with you on LinkedIn. Nothing happened for a short term. But the fact I made an impression, we had a really good chat. 2 years later, I saw that he posted something on LinkedIn that his company, House United, is hiring for an assistant accountant, like a graduate level. So I sent him a text and I go, hey, Michael, just saw this post, you know, on your LinkedIn, and was really keen to see if, you know, I could potentially you know, you consider me for the role. He's like, look, do you have an accounting? I'm like, yes. Do you have work experience in accounting? I'm like, no, I don't. And that's taught me a great lesson that day. If you don't ask, you don't find out. And people don't always hire people with the highest technical skills. It's about the attitude.
Sure.
Potential. So you just saw how eager I was. I really wanted the job. And I got on with him really well as well on the social side of things. So he gave me an interview, you know, and I didn't have a master's in accounting or finance. I just had a degree. I didn't have like the best grades. I wasn't like an A grade. You know, I was probably a credit rated student. But the fact that I really wanted it, and so he gave me 1 day a week. So the fact I work on the roster in my first, I was able to fit 1 day plus my full time job. Then I went to 2 days. He's going to only for 3 days, and I go, well, what about full time? So I went back there. Yeah. So look, it was a big drop in terms of the salary, but I was like, I want to do something that made me happy. Yeah. And I was okay. The money didn't matter anymore. Yeah. I wanted my life back because I worked most weekends, most public holidays. I wanted my life back. Right. So I did that for a year. I was happy. I worked 9 to 5. Didn't know what that meant, 9 to 5. Never worked a 9 to 5 job before. So I saw like I had weekends with my girlfriend, you know, and did that for a year. And then I plateaued. I've learned all the things that I wanted to learn. Sure. So I go, I need to make things interesting now. Yeah. So I got a bit of a techie background, so I automated most of the process because I go, we're a tech recruitment agency. Why are we using so much paper? So this was my little side project. It was getting me my job more and more and more exciting. And then that took another year. The CFO was so happy, and he's had all this pathway for me to become a finance manager, and that made me nervous that he said that. And I was like, oh. And I had to be honest. I go, Ron, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm passionate about accounting. It was a tough thing to say. Like, it was scary. No doubt. And just being surrounded by all these recruiters and I hear their conversation, I just loved the way they interacted. I love hearing about their pain. I had about you know, their wins as well. And I was going, oh my God, I really want to be. And I was stuck in my head for 2 years. And then one day I go, nah, I don't see myself do this for the next 10 years. Why am I running in an extra 10 days or 10 months? So it's like, I want to be a recruiter. It's like, wait right here. So within 15 minutes, I spoke to the leadership team, and yeah, we're going to give you a chance. So you go, your first job is to find a replacement. So I had to find an assistant accountant to join the team, and so that was my first task. And I go, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so I recruited for my replacement, and I became a recruiter at House 3 Nights in July 2018. That's when I started. And I just thought sometimes you just have a personality, you like to talk to people. That's all you need, you know, because what I do as a recruitment consultant, it's called being a 360. I don't just jobs just come to me and I recruit for it. I need to find opportunities as well. So my role as a recruiter is split in three parts. The first part is the cold calling. Tough. I don't have a sales background, you know. It was really tough, you know, that nervousness, you know, your stomach sort of like a knot when that phone rings and someone picks up the call, they don't expect your call during the busy core hours, you know, and it's just like having to sell your services, and my tongue twists all the time.
Yeah.
Months I was mumbling, and I was like, I can't even hear a word out of your mouth. Like you really like, you need to breathe. You need to breathe.
Oh.
And for 9 months, I'll be honest with you, I'm not ashamed to say it, I will cry in a shower, because it's just, I've never been a job where it took so long for me to get it. And unfortunately, recruitment or sales job is all about rejections. Yeah. There's a lot of no's before they get a yes.
So you need a lot of resilience.
Resilience, and I'm known to family and around my friends to be not just sensitive, hypersensitive. You know, if a sun don't bright hard enough of a day, I might cry about it. You know, it was just like, and just having so many no's, and you know, or people hang up on you sometimes, or. And sometimes when it counts, who knows you're not very experienced, they won't give the time, and that was tough for the first 9 months. But practice makes perfect, right? The more you make the calls, the more you fear you face your fears, and it's quite rewarding. You know, now I actually enjoy
language.
Yeah, correct.
Persuasive, and
even speaking to you today, I was a bit nervous about jumping on this call. You know, but I actually sort of like, I was like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. Okay, I like this. I like this feeling right now, you know, and I feel good. I'm talking to you, I'm comfortable, and I go, okay, I'll face my fears. You know, it gets better. It never goes away. Right? But you learn how to deal with it.
Of course.
So that's the first part, trying to find opportunities, build relationship, network.
Yep.
And the second part is, once you pick up a job, that's great. You know, it's a great feeling. You picked up a job. So now it's time to find a candidate. So it's about, you know, going through LinkedIn, go for a database, see who's suitable. Again, listening skills come through, because you really need to, you know, these people are really busy. You've got a short amount of time to really understand what they're looking for.
Right.
And it's just not for the technical skills. It's about, are they going to be a good cultural fit?
Yes.
So sometimes upon in tech, some people are really, really smart, and they don't always have the emotional intelligence or the patience to deal, you know, for people who's not as amazing as they are. But that these days are gone now. You know, you need to be able to work well within a team, you know, because we're trying to achieve the same goal, you know. So you really need to understand how the team's like, what the technical stuff they're looking after, you know, and my job is not to make the decision. My job is to provide options. Okay, Elise, you want A, I'll give it a bit of A, a little bit of B, or a bit of someone who's a bit of a wild card who might bring a different perspective to this role. That's what makes sense.
Right.
So that's the second part. You organise interviews, you manage feedbacks, and if you like, you know, if all goes well, you get an offer, which is always exciting, you know, and then manage counter offers. Some people, you know, will go and resign, and they go, well, Elise, what do we need to do for us to get you to stay? You know, because what I do is, like, we recruit for a niche market, so manage that as well, and most importantly, aftercare. My job don't stop after I place into a role, because I'm mostly a contracting specialist. I recruit tech contractors who specialise in an area, so they do 3, 6 to 12 month contract. So I've got to check in. Are you happy? You know, the role, as we discussed, you know, is this, you know, it happens. Sometimes it's not what I thought it was going to be, you know. So asking the client, give us feedback. Are you happy? You know, how's John getting on? You know, it's all about that as well. And why I think I do it well, sometimes it's really hard not to be transactional.
Yep.
In recruitment, you have 10, 15, some have got 18 jobs on their desk. You competing with other agencies. You know, you don't always get a role exclusively. So, but unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to provide a human touch. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't look for volume. I look
Yeah.
for really strong relationship,
Yeah.
and I work on roles. Like I don't work on that many roles, so I can really take the time. And I'm looking for clients who's really willing to give me that time as well, so I can do
Mm.
the job. So what I do differently and what I do it well is I just don't look at a CV and send a good profile, because I've seen some amazing CVs sometimes, and they don't necessarily have the right candidate. Within 5 minutes, they're just really good at running a CV, you know, or sometimes they're really good at an interview, but on the practical stuff they didn't do so well. So what I
Mhm.
like to do, the service that I offer, I have to do the technical interview myself. So I'll
Mm.
spend half an hour on a Zoom and really sort of, run some a tech test. And so I just send a CV. I also send some technical responses as well. So you can find out as well, if you worked on it, you should have been able to answer that question. But
Right.
I'm not a technical person. I'll just do the matchmaking. So I'll allow the home manager to get a bit more perspective before seeing someone for an interview. And I just enjoy chat. I just enjoy listening to people, do what I've been up to, and
Mm.
connecting with them. And I think that's what I do really well in my job. And also, I've learned so much from recruitment, even in my personal life. Things that used to bother me in personal life in the past,
Yeah.
building resilience has
Yeah.
actually helped me to, that doesn't matter. COVID was a perfect reset for me. 5 years ago, if COVID happened 5 years ago, I probably would have crumbled. But I
Mm.
just see the positive things in life. I get spend more time with my fiance. I'm not home that much, because of a commute in the city, and I get home late. I leave home early. I get to work out more. I look after my health. Get to see my
Mhm.
therapist more often. The chiropractors. I get to
Mm.
work out with my brother. We don't get to spend a lot of time. My nephew
Mm.
now, but now it's a bit more relaxed. So yeah, resilience is a great thing, but you don't just get resilient just overnight.
No.
It's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah.
So that's what, in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Wow. I'm really looking forward to unpacking even more of this with students on campus, but we will save some of that. One thing I do want to ask you though, Nick, is in terms of skills, you're an expert in the field of recruitment, and in sort of specialist areas perhaps, but there's a lot of talk around how do we prepare the next generation to have 13 different careers in 5 different industries, and it comes down to a skill set. So what's your advice, or what sort of skills should they be focused on developing?
All right. So the technical skills you can always learn. All
Mm.
right. So, and I was saying earlier, attitude, having a good
Yeah.
attitude, I suppose. So emotional intelligence. We did a training about that a couple of weeks ago, and we've learned so much about emotional intelligence. They've done significant studies
Yeah.
around emotional intelligence. What they found is 90% of top performers have high emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
So emotion is responsible for 58% of an employee job performance.
Mm.
And you want to focus on the financial side of things. That's why most people work, right? So
Yeah.
people with high EQs, emotional intelligence, make 29,000 more annually than some of the low emotional.
Ah, no kidding.
That's just and I love numbers. I love stats, right? Like, you might read about some, but give me the stats. So
Yeah,
when I
okay.
was doing that training, I was like, wow.
Mm.
I'm not saying that people that are not emotionally intelligent are not going to be successful. There are
No.
some emotionally unintelligent individuals who are
Yeah,
very successful, but
of course.
the lack of self-awareness
Mm.
could have actually, you better realize, they could have taken a career to the next level,
Mm. Yep.
right? So you get like, high job satisfaction when you're emotionally intelligent. You deal with changes very well. you
Yeah.
know so you learn how to manage your moods and the moods of others when you're emotionally intelligent. Again, this is something you can develop. There's this big misconception about emotional intelligence is, you need to have a high IQ, and you constantly going to have be highly emotionally intelligent. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Being emotionally intelligent, like being nice all the time, being able to push over, or yeah, of course you need to empathize with people and see things in different perspective. But emotional intelligence is not about just being nice, right? It's about finding knowing about the right time. Sorry, what you do thing. It's not a personality thing either. Being an extrovert or an introvert, you can still
Mm.
be emotionally intelligent. But there are definitely things there are ways how to improve or promote your emotional intelligence. But it takes time. It took me 10 years.
Mm.
It's about failing and failing, and sometimes emotions are so big it's hard to control it. But with trial and error, and if you really something at an early age, you understand the importance of it. You're only going to boost your career progress, much, much, much faster.
Good advice. And mixing with people who you deem emotionally intelligent or good, who have good high-level social emotional skills would help our teenagers too, no doubt. People like yourself, Nick, and other alumni from Hampton Park who can help lead the way and develop these skills. Hey, just conscious of time and just wondering if you have a parting message to the Hampton Park students and staff.
Yeah, absolutely. I must start with the staff because they were amazing, absolutely amazing. Look, where I come from, the teachers can be, again, very transactional. They didn't always want to be teachers, right? You want to, if their family push them into this kind of role. So the passion was not always there. And if the teachers shows passion, it's infectious.
Yeah.
Mr. Lynch, I forgot his first name, but Mr. Lynch, my methods teacher, I remember, I didn't really, it was no fact, I didn't like maths, but I remember I always wanted to know, why am I learning this? What's the point of this? I don't want to do this. I'm wasting my time here. And I remember for trigonometry, nobody asked him any questions. You go like, trigonometry, have you seen these guys on the road with a tripod looking into something on a construction site? Yep, that is trigonometry. I was like, get out of here. I was like, okay, cool. And actually he got my attention. But you can tell when someone loves what they do. It's just not about teaching the kids, but it's trying to find different ways to get their attention as well. And my dad always said, you might know something, a subject really, really well, but it's a whole different skill to actually know how to teach it.
Totally.
It's a real gift. And like I said, Miss Lynn was a good example. Miss Kelly Coney was one like ESL. You guys say EAL, but ESL, how we used to call it.
Yeah.
She was great for that as well. And for the student, look, everyone's got a different walk of lives. People's going to give you a lot of advice. I'm not saying they're not bad advice. They're probably a good advice. But it needs to be tailored for your needs and who you are and what you're looking for in life. And your friends going to have their own, what they think is going to be best for you, or you're might think like, oh, John is actually at 22 so successful. I'm still at uni. I'm still broke. I didn't buy my first car until 2013. So that was 5 years after I finished high school. My brother had his first car. He was 17. I didn't end up doing what I wanted to do or find my calling of a job. I got a lot of got a satisfaction from until I was 29. Your time will come. Don't look at what your mates are doing.
Yeah.
Right? Don't buy into that stuff. It's not a race. Some people don't end up doing things that we really love at 50.
Totally.
Actually do something like, there's this guy who he retired at 60, started writing books, became so successful. It's just an age, it's just a number, and don't make this society's timeline your timeline. Your time will come, and as long as you're happy, that's the main thing. And just don't chase the cash. Like, seriously, I can't say this enough. I say this to my kids all the time. Please don't do that. Invest into your certification. Take the time. If you have to take a step back to bounce back, just do that. But in a nutshell, that's what I want to share. Because it's it's really hard when you look at what people are doing, especially with Instagram. Look, one more advice as well.
Yeah.
We live in a digital world. If you wouldn't say it around your parents, if you wouldn't say it in open class, you wouldn't say it on the street, don't put it on there.
Yep. Good advice.
You'd be surprised if you Google your name, what comes up. I did that one, I think it's 10 years ago. I've Googled my own name and I was just, when on images, I was like, oh my God. And I can guarantee employers are doing it too. Making an offer, not just doing a reference check. I am yet to pick up a bad reference check because people will give you references that they know is going to give them a good one. So employers will dig it a bit deeper.
Yes.
That's on a good old social.
Be careful how you're branding yourself, kiddies.
Look, I was lucky because Facebook only came around 2007. It was it was a start. You need to understand with the technology, people can screen record stuff now. If you've got things on Snapchat, people can screen record. They can just screenshot of your conversations. I know a lot of my friends who lost jobs because I think they're posting on Facebook, complaining about work, about their boss, their colleagues. or just really, made comments about things that, was just not on.
Yeah.
Right. So as I said, if you wouldn't do it around, your family and your friends or in the public, just to because you just don't know who can screenshot, who can share, because not all your friends are your friends, So if you want to have a pro conversation, there's a place and a time and location for it, not in the digital world.
That's right. Excellent advice, Nick. Thank you so much. You're full of excellent advice. In fact, I feel like I could talk to you all day.
Yep.
And, really sound messages for the students and great little shout outs to those staff members too. But thank you so much for making time for this chat. It was such a joy to hear more about your story and background. And we look forward to having you on campus at Hampton Park, hopefully next term or term 4.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, Elise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.